Nigeria sacrificed herself for South Africa's freedom. They say freedom is never free. Sometimes, it is bought with sweat. Sometimes, with blood. And sometimes, with the sacrifices of strangers who never set foot on your land. During South Africa's dark years of apartheid, when the white minority government ruled with iron hands, the world was watching. But in Africa, one country refused to just watch: Nigeria. From the 1960s, when Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress, ANC, began their struggle, Nigeria stood up. It wasn't just words, it was action. Nigeria used its oil wealth to create the Southern Africa Relief Fund, SAF. Ordinary Nigerians, students, workers, even poor farmers, were asked to contribute. And they did. Some gave their salaries, others skipped meals, children even donated their lunch money. By 1976, Nigeria had raised millions of dollars to support South African freedom fighters and take care of families in exile. But that was just the beginning. Nigeria made apartheid costly for the South African regime. When other nations were still trading with South Africa, Nigeria cut ties completely: no business, no flights, no sports. In fact, the Nigerian government forced every university student in the country to pay a small fee each term called the Mandela Tax. That money went directly into supporting the anti-apartheid movement. It wasn't only money. Nigerians gave their lives too. Many young Nigerian activists were arrested, beaten, and some even killed during protests against companies and governments that supported apartheid. They never saw South Africa, but they fought for her freedom. The voice of Nigeria was loud in the world. At the United Nations, Nigerian diplomats pushed day and night for sanctions against South Africa. At the Organization of African Unity, OAU, Nigeria became known as the frontline backer, even though it was far from South Africa. When Nelson Mandela was finally released in 1990, one of his first trips outside South Africa was to Nigeria. He stood before a massive crowd in Lagos and said, "Nigeria gave us hope when hope was dim. You stood by us when many turned away." South Africa's freedom was not only won by South Africans. It was also carried on the shoulders of Africans who refused to stay silent. And among them, Nigeria stood tallest. Sparkles, that is how Nigeria and Africans gave their money, their voices, and even their lives, so that one day, South Africa could be free.